for 10 minutes and then everything should be fine again. From today on, no more sleeping in the studio. It's just not healthy. The couch is not as comfortable as a bed. And the problem is when I'm here in the studio, I just keep on working. So I stayed up until 5, 6. Now again, 8:30 in the morning. And I'm about to start working again. And that's just not good. As much as I love making music, I need breaks in between to be better in making music. If you constantly work, you will just lose focus and the quality of your work will just go down, and that's something I absolutely don't want to happen. First of all, freshening up a bit. Just I shouldn't sit like this in front of a camera. So I need really to be careful with my sleep rhythm and cycle. Usually when Vanessa's gone or I don't have anything else in life that really keeps me from being up at a certain point in time, I just work the entire night until I'm so tired that I fall asleep on my laptop, and then I just wake up the next morning as soon as possible, keep on working. And this is okay for a week or two, but I did that for quite some time, especially when I was living in Berlin for over 2-3 months, and then it happens that I go to bed every night 1 or 2 hours later, and within 1 week I kind of skip one day. I always thought it's kind of cool because you get one more day in life, but you're actually not. It just slows you down and you kind of lose time, and it's very hard to be creative when you're tired or when you're hungry or stuff like that is just bothering you and distracting you. First thing today, checking all of your comments. There have been a lot of comments. Thanks to all of you. It really means a lot to me to see this community of music producers and music lovers growing. It is a lot of fun, and all of your comments are very positive, which really motivates me to work more on my music and also try to up the game with the videos. There is one comment by someone that I love to answer. He's asking me how long I actually need for a track, and it really depends. It can be something like 30 hours up to endless. So let's say my Little Jean Jacket edit, that's the track that was underneath yesterday's video. It was an edit, so the piano was already there and the vocals. So it went quite quick, maybe 2 or 3 days with checking everything. My Dancing with Our Hearts track took maybe 4 or 5 days. I already had the vocals, so I could just make an instrumental to them and had them as a guidance. But there are tracks where it really takes long. For example, the Not Scared track, I kind of made 2 tracks for the same vocals. So there was a lot of time that I spent on this track. And my All About track, for example, I started it 3 years before it actually got released. I didn't, of course, work the entire 3 years on it, but I always checked back on the track, made some adjustments. All of your comments are so nice, and there are a lot of interesting questions, so I think it's about time to make the next Q&A, probably at the end of this week. So every question you have, just post it underneath the next 2 or 3 videos, and it will be answered. All done also with emails, business phone calls. I didn't really find the time to make music, but I made enough yesterday evening. Gordon called me, he wants to get lunch, and I really didn't see him, I think, since the video where I skated with my skateboard on ice, which, by the way, still hurts a little. Did you already see my new setup?
It's awesome.
Yeah, it looks very professional.
This cat thing here. Just don't get it too close to the dog because then it's gone.
Okay, so as always, pizza or Chinese?
Chinese.
I think I've bothered nobody more than Gordon with that I need a wider lens to get more into the frame.
It's actually not bothering, but yeah, you kept complaining a lot.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. It's way harder to try to film something like that.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, it's way easier.
Yeah. But I like that duct tape you put on there.
Yes, I had to adjust the setup. This was really nice and spicy. Now waiting for Gordon to get something to drink. I'm taking care of his dog. This dog likes to lick apparently pee by other dogs. Does anybody remember the day I had him for an entire day in the studio? Bye.
Have a good one, but give me my dog, please. Thanks.
It's so cold outside and I even forgot my jacket. I will work again on the Not Scared track. I adjusted a couple of things yesterday evening and made one mistake with the vocals. They are now in one part a bit out of the sync with the beat. It doesn't really fit. And that's just the stuff that happens when you work, when you're way too tired. So I will fix it now really quick and hope that there are no other mistakes left. It's a pretty straightforward fix. This vocal part here is a bit out of sync. I will mark it red, zoom in and change it into the flex mode of Logic, which basically gives you the ability to work with vocals as you would usually only do with MIDI. So I can drag the notes up and down and also move them. In this case, I will just select all of them and press the Q button to quantize them. Sounds pretty good. It's a little bit too straight, so I will put the quantize onto it that I've used in the rest of the parts as well. And I will also now delete the bridge. I think that's the way to go on this track. Deleting, super easy, just selecting all of it, erasing it. Also this little effect here, the drums at the top, the side chaining, I'm just moving it a bit to the back, selecting the rest of the parts, moving it to the front, saying yes to transporting the automations, and it should be all done. I just need the side chaining trigger kick again.
Look at those pictures you made of me.
It's finally done, another track finished. These two adjustments were the last ones, at least I hope. I will send it now to the label. I think this track will be released at the end of January, beginning of February. Really depends a bit, because at the beginning of the year is usually very slow. Doesn't really make sense to release something right after the new year, where everybody is still a bit drunk. But before the Not Scared track is the release of the Rising track with Kaylee, which is just amazing, and I can't wait to share it with you. You've probably heard it on the past videos. It's just astonishing what a voice she has, and it's a very well written track. And the best part about it is that there is actually a second track with Kaylee. It's already almost done. That is even better than the Rising track. I will show it to you very soon, probably right after the Rising track was released. There's kind of one more thing I want to try out before leaving the studio a bit earlier today, and that is trying to connect my sound card to the input of the camera. I was thinking about doing an EQing tutorial kind of this week. A lot of you have been asking me how to EQ things, and I didn't do it because it's a bit pointless to show you how to EQ and not being able to record the internal sound so that you can actually hear what I'm doing. And I know that there are plugins that can record the internal sound, but I have installed once one of them. It completely messed up my plugins, so I'm not doing that again. But getting it right into the camera should also work, so let's see. It's now almost 4. I installed a new screensaver app that has the time on it, so that something like yesterday never happens again to me. It's now almost 4. I'm leaving probably as early as I've never left the studio before. I anyways spent way too much time in here. I honestly can't even remember the last time I left the studio and it was still bright outside. Fresh air and sunlight, it's really nice. I even decided to walk. Although now 20 minutes later it's getting extremely cold, my fingers are freezing, but this way I'm at least avoiding the tram. That's the #1 place to get sick during the winter. Okay, back at home, time to take care of the private stuff. It's super cold on the skateboard. I'm all done with the boring stuff back at home. So boring that it's actually pointless to show you. now visiting Achim for maybe 1, 2, 3 or more hours of FIFA, beer and fun. Here's another really cool and fun question. I will save it for the Q&A at the end of the week.
I think it's, I wouldn't say 50-50.